Welcome back, guys, to another video. And so today's video is going to be about my 2007 Dodge Nitro. So it's a Dodge mid-size SUV. You either like the styling or you don't. I did not mind it. It was very, I want to say, beefy looking, kind of, but it also had a bit of a Lego-ness to it. So it was a box that they tried to make you look masculine, and we bought that car actually because we wanted an SUV with four-wheel drive that was relatively modern. We found that one. It had about 90,000 kilometers on it, and they were asking, I believe, $13,000 for that car. And negotiating back and forth with the dealership, again, one of the big box dealerships. So it was a local Mitsubishi dealership here. They had that car, and I guess they wanted to get rid of it, and we were able to negotiate a price of $10,000 after taxes, registration, and everything in it. So that was my biggest vehicle purchase to date, that up to that point. So it was a 2007 Dodge Nitro. It was silver, it was fully loaded, so power everything, sunroof. The only thing that was missing was leather, and unfortunately it didn't have the 4-liter. I had the 3.7 liter V6, and we bought that car, and came with winter tires, and we used it for about a year, just a little shy of a year. The Nitro was actually not a bad car. We didn't have any issues with it at first, but then one day we came back after doing some errands, and it was on the street, and I see a giant puddle. Look underneath, turns out it was coolant. So for some reason the water pump decided to spontaneously go bad and leak coolant all over the place, and I was a little worried as to what the expense going to be for that coolant, or not the coolant, but for the replacement for the water pump. It was cool outside and the weather was miserable, so I wasn't really in a position where I want to do it myself. I brought it in, and where I was really surprised was that new water pump, new serpentine belt, labor, the whole 9 yards. My bill came out to $180, so I was actually quite pleased that it was not an expensive repair. It was a relatively reasonable price to get all that fixed. And after that, we drove the car for, like I said, almost a year, and we ended up trading that car in for the SUV that we have right now, which is a 2006 Volkswagen Touareg. But the good, the bad about that Nitro. So the good was the space. It was quite spacious inside. The trunk was good. The back legroom was good. It was comfortable seats. The air conditioning worked nice. It was well equipped. The interior plastics were actually very cheap, so that's kind of one of the deterring points. They had the handles that looked almost like they wanted to be chrome or metal, but it was really just painted plastic. So you could see where they were kind of cutting corners, and I'm not sure where else they cut corners. I didn't have it long enough to find out, and I'm glad I didn't find out. But it was a four-wheel drive model, so it was actually a two-wheel drive vehicle. So it was always in two-wheel drive, and you can lock four wheels. So it was a manually locking system. But the downside was it was just a four-wheel drive low. So up until 20-30 k an hour, you were fine. After that, if you didn't disable the four-wheel lock, it would beep at you and scream, and it didn't like that. So in snow, it was good because you could lock it, get traction, get going. It was fine. And even unlocking it, so leaving it just in rear-wheel drive mode, was good most of the time. Even in deep snow that we had that winter that I owned it, it was actually quite a bit of fun because you could fishtail. So it was quite easy to do donuts in it. I didn't really feel that it would roll over on me anytime, but in on-road situations, I would not have wanted to push that very hard through corners because it did feel a little tipsy. But if I'm just doing donuts on a parking lot, it was really no problem for it. So we had it for some time. We traded it for a Touareg. I'll talk about the price with the video of the Touareg, but anyhow, trading it in, we had made a deal that they would send it to an auction. They'll see what they get, and then we'll put that money towards the Touareg. So I was expecting if I paid $10,000 with taxes, I'd probably get around $9,000 from the auction. And after everything was settled, I ended up getting about $12,000 for that car from the auction. So it sold for just over $11,000 plus tax. So it was a nice chunk of change that came back from that car that we were able to put towards the Touareg. So it was a good investment because I had a couple $100 expense, and I got all plus more money back from it. So that worked out nicely with the Dodge Nitro. Would I buy one again? I know they come with 6-speed standards, and if I could find a 6-speed with the 4-liter, I think I'd consider it, just because it does have that nice rear-wheel drive. A lot of fun in the snow, but they're very rare to come across. Anyhow, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you liked the video, and in tomorrow's video we'll talk about my 2006 Volkswagen Touareg. So, and yeah, thank you for watching. If you like, subscribe, feel free to share, and see you guys tomorrow.